What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Thank you for stopping in. Today we got an exciting unboxing to dig into for you guys. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I'd love to have you here. And before you head out, do me a huge favor, hit the thumbs up button. Greatly appreciate it, everyone. It really helps push the videos out there so more people have a chance to check them out. And feel free to let me know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. So we have a knife here coming in from Kizer, and this is going to be more out of their affordable line. I believe this is a new release for the month of June, and it's actually a knife that I've never checked out before. Get a couple of stickers, and in your pamphlet here you get a microfiber cloth and some paperwork. They're really going all out on some of their stickers, and then we got extra hardware there in the bottom of the box, which is a nice little touch. And what we are dealing with here, guys, is the brand new Jacob Lundquist Banish. Now, if this particular one, I believe this is a new model for June, but this knife, or it's a new version. There's quite a few other versions of this knife. I know they have a micarta one coming as well. And I think they're basically just kind of updating to different flavors. Now, the Banish here is going to be coming in Nitro V. And Lundquist has he's got a very specific design language when it comes to most of his knives. There are a few that don't look quite like the rest, but a lot of his knives have this very same similar aesthetic, kind of sway back style handle, meaning the handle kind of flares back up this way. And then he really likes sheep's foot and Wharncliffe style blades. He's also done the Veritas, which has a very similar aesthetic as well, which we can take a look at a couple of those here once we go over this. But this is more of a specific size. This is going to be more of a secondary carry or a smaller lightweight carry type of a deal. But you're still going to be able to get, I can basically get 3.5 on this if I really, squeeze onto this handle, which this is going to be more geared for just lighter duty cutting, slicing tasks, things like that. This is not going to be, your hard use, beater at work. Being a button lock, being the size that it is and the style, this is definitely more of a secondary, kind of a backup maybe to your primary, or just a utility style slicer because of that sheep's foot style blade. It does have their shinier PVD style coating. Nitro V, nice little sharpening choil. All the hardware is blacked out, matching the blade, which looks really good, along with the liners there. Nice minimal clip. It's been recessed with the screws, and it's going to be reversible. I think this would have looked fantastic with maybe a little aluminum filler tab there to match the rest of the hardware and complete the look. But in the grand scheme of everything, coming in the materials that it is, I want to say these are right around 40 bucks. And that's a pretty solid price tag for Nitro V, a Kizer build. We'll go ahead and we'll test some of the functions, and then we'll bring out some of the other Lundquist designs that really, he really has a specific language. If this is the first knife you're seeing from him, or you're not sure what knives are from him, I have a couple, and the design cues are, he will eventually have this look kind of trademarked, if you will. You'll know, you already do, that this is his design. So we'll go ahead and get our issuing stitches Hank out here, and we'll give this thing a look in the pocket. It's got the typical Kizer button lock action. It's got a nice spring in there. It's got good closing action. There's no drag or anything like that. As far as the pocket clip goes, it's nice and minimal. It's clean looking, not a whole lot going on, so I like that smaller, sleeker clip. You won't see much of this poking out of the pocket at all. Maybe 1/8 of an inch or about that roughly, which ain't bad at all. It's got good retention on there. Yeah, I think this will make a nice little secondary carry. A lot of people really enjoy this aesthetic, you know, this look, this sway back look. And a lot of people really enjoy a smaller button lock style of knife. You can still, you know, thumb flick this open. You can still reverse flick it. Now, people with bigger hands are definitely going to, you know, it's not going to be as easy for them. The front flipper is going to be easy for everyone. I think it's very well done. It's jimped in the right spot. It comes up and just dies off immediately, which means you're going to get a lot of leverage on that very easily. Why don't we go ahead and we'll check that Nitro V blade. Looks to be a full flat grind, so it should be pretty thin behind the edge there. It's got really solid action. It's hard for me to really get in here and get it flicked open, but I'm not having trouble doing it, but there's not a lot of handle here for me, so I gotta really figure out placement in order to thumb and reverse flick this thing out. But with that all being said, it's not necessarily meant just to be a fidget toy. It just has multiple opening options, and people with smaller hands, females that have smaller hands, or maybe, you know, just anyone with like medium sized or under hands, you're going to have a lot different experience with this knife than I will with, you know, a little bit larger hands. So that is something to keep in mind. If you do have a little bit smaller hands, this will be a lot more, it'll be a lot easier to manipulate and move around. So we got a little piece of notebook paper here, and Kizer usually does a fantastic job on their edges and their fit and finish. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, very good, very good, very good. So let's bring out a couple of his other designs. Now, I have had a few others, but have since sold them or given them away. Now, the two that I still have, and this is going to look very familiar. It's basically a play off of this knife. It's a little tiny bit larger. Now, this is an exclusive through Urban EDC Supply. That's why it's in titanium with the Segaha pattern. I believe that this one is called the Vanish, and this is called the Banish. I believe that's called the Vanish. So very similar names, but they are a little bit different in their size. This is a little bit thicker through here, and this one's coming in 20 CV. So, you know, quite the upgrade in materials considering 20 CV to Nitro V, titanium to G10. This one's going to be, but these were still very fair priced for, you know, what you are getting. And one of the most popular knives over the last year or so in general, but definitely for Kizer, one of their most popular knives, the Veritas here. And you can see, although not a sheep split, it is very Lundquist-like. You have that kind of signature indent there, rectangular indent on all three of these, and just very similar flows and lines. It's cool to see and cool to recognize, because it's very hard with, you know, knives being around for as long as they have. There are very few ways that you can kind of stand out, you know, amongst the massive group that is knife design. So to stand out even a little bit in one way or another and have your kind of signature, I think that's really cool and really, really hard to do. People are still doing it though. There's still designers out there that are coming up with their own thing, and it really sticking and staying around, which is awesome. So yeah, I think this will make a nice little secondary carry here. We'll give it a little lock test here, couple of taps, It's got very good lockup. There's no lashing in there. There's no pivot lashing. For a plunge lock, this is very solid. If I really wrench on it, I can get the entire blade to move around in there, but it feels pretty damn good for being a plunge lock. Yeah, there's no side to side, so for a plunge lock, that's pretty good. A little bit of movement is not a cause for concern anytime, especially if it's passing you know, some light taps on the spine. But I like Lundqvist's design flow and look, and you know, this is definitely targeted at a specific group, people who like a little bit smaller knife. A lot of people have to deal with blade length restrictions as well, and this is probably targeting that as well, because you're going to be coming in under that 3-inch mark. You're really looking at more like you're really looking at like 2 3/8 for your total blade length, more like 2 1/8 for your blade length. So this is definitely going to fit into a lot of different areas and be legally acceptable, even in some places where it's really tough to get a knife into. I know some places I think are 2.5 inches and under. Certain jurisdictions and cities, I'm almost positive I've heard that. So, you know, this would fit into that bill as well. Now, I don't know if you can have locking there, but I know there's a blade length restriction. I think it was Chicago, but don't hold me to that. But I know there's a lot of wonky bull crap knife laws that exist out there, and it should not be the case. You guys will have to let me know. What do you think of the Banish and the new Banish versions that are coming out? And let me know, up until this time, what is your favorite Kizer knife, or top 3 even, that have come out ever? Your top 3. Or you can go with your top, you know, your favorite one. You know, let me know. Let me know something like that, because I'm trying to put something together. Hit that thumbs up button for me. I always appreciate that, everyone. If you're new here, we release videos just like this one every single day. Hit that subscribe button, ring the little bell. I'd love to have you here. Otherwise, guys, I'll throw up a couple of new videos. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thanks again for watching. I will catch you on the next one.